story with you from this book, right? Does anyone remember what the name of the story was? Raise your hand if you remember the name of the story. If not, you can peek in. Do you remember, Viana?
The No Guitar Blues.
The No Guitar Blues. Okay. You guys had a discussion about the key concept of the story. It's about Fausto, and he wanted a guitar, correct?
Yeah.
Who could tell me, just real quickly, some of the main ideas that you talked about when you had a discussion the other day? Do you remember, Sophie?
Yeah. You should lie.
You shouldn't lie. Can you tell me a little more about that?
Well, he lied to the people, for the owners of the dog, that he found them on the road.
Okay, so in the story, the character Fausto lied to the owners.
Yeah.
Said he found the dog. Okay, other concepts that you talked about the other day. Yes, Katie?
Sometimes when you lie, you can feel guilty afterwards, or you can hurt that person that you lied to, or even yourself.
Great, so the idea of guilt, okay, or hurting somebody. What else?
You can wash your guilt by being good.
Okay, I like that. Wash your guilt by being good. One last thought, Jacob.
You could also get embarrassed by it, because maybe say you're investing something that's asks you to do it.
Okay, so sort of like getting caught in your lie. Excellent. So hopefully everyone has a sense of sort of the key concepts of the story. We're going to revisit this story today. And I have two objectives for you for our lesson. And you should have done this last year. If you were at LCAS, you guys had a shared inquiry discussion where you talked to each other about some ideas in the book. Give me a thumbs up if you remember that. It's okay if you don't remember, because we're going to go over it today. And it's sort of the first time we're doing it this year in grade 5. So, and I know Ms. Kelly wants to work with you on this, so we're going to use this time today as sort of our practice, okay, to get into it. So the two objectives we're going to go over today, and this is what we're going to check in again on at the end of the lesson. Number 1, who wants to read that for me? Jane, can you read that for me?
To be able to generate ideas in response to a question that might have more than one answer.
Okay, so our first task today, when we're having our discussion, is to come up with some ideas for a question that I give you, and the question might have more than one answer. So you might have, say, a different answer than the person sitting next to you, and that's going to be okay. The second objective is what's going to help us with that. Who can read that one for me? Who would like to read? Katie, go ahead and read that one.
To be able to give evidence that supports your answer.
Okay, someone help me with that word evidence. What does that mean? Let's see, something different. Just go ahead. Or Michael, sorry.
Some like evidence, like ideas.
So if I give evidence for something, what am I doing? Let's put our hands down while we listen to Michael's answer.
Can you give evidence? You're going to show like why you're doing it.
Okay, show why you're doing something? Sure, let's add on to that. Timothy?
You have to support like your answer.
Support your answer. What do you mean by support? Can you add on to that a little bit? Does someone want to help with that? Because that's great. I like that word support. What do you think, Felix, you mean for that?
Looking back into the book and finding quotes from the book.
Oh, good. That's one way of doing it. Finding quotes from the book. Let's see. Yes, Ray.
Finding reasons.
Reasons. Yeah. Let's get one more idea. Jade, go ahead.
You're finding proof.
Oh, proof. Okay. Oh, Jade, were you going to say that? Okay, yeah. So when we find evidence, right, we're supporting our ideas. We're finding proof. We're looking back into the story. Okay? And those are the two things we're going to work on today. All right, so before we get on with it, I want us to take a look at some guidelines. Right? This is the guidelines for our shared inquiry. And we're going to go through these, and I'm going to leave these up on the board so that we can refer back to them throughout our discussion. Okay? Let's read through them first. The first one says, read the story carefully before participating. And so we all have done that, so that shouldn't be a problem. Number 2 says, discuss only the story everyone has read. So today we're only going to talk about the story, The No Guitar Blues. Okay? We're not going to talk about any other story that we've read before, because we want to use number 3, and this is the big one for today. Read that one for me, please. Claire, can you read that one for me?
Support your ideas with evidence from the story.
Okay? So if you're not sure how to do that yet, it's okay, because that's sort of our goal of today's lesson, to support your ideas with evidence. Number 4, can someone read that one for me? Let's see. Alex, go ahead.
Listen to other participants and respond to them directly.
All this, right? Raising your hands. Well, in this discussion, you're not going to raise your hands. We're going to have a conversation where you are going to listen to each other and try to respond to each other based on what that person has said. Maybe you agree with them. Maybe you disagree with them. Maybe you want to add on. And I know Miss Kelly had a lesson with you where you had to summarize the other person's ideas. But we're going to try to do that today. Just like you're on the playground or at lunch and you talk with each other. You don't raise your hands when you talk to your friends, do you? No. That would be silly. So today, we're going to try to have a conversation by listening to each other and responding to them directly. Okay. And the last one, what does that say, the last one? Timothy, can you read that last one for me?
Expect the leader to only ask questions.
Okay. And as the leader, I'm only going to ask questions. I'm not going to share my ideas. I'm going to ask questions to help spur the discussion along. Sound good? Yes, Ellen?
Back to number 4.
Sure.
When you talk to them directly, is it like a debate where you have to wait for them to say their full idea? Or can you just like when you have like a mistake, can you like jump in?
Great question. It's like you're having a conversation. Is it okay to interrupt somebody when they're talking? Is that really a good thing to do? No. So I'm glad you brought that up. You probably would let them finish what they're saying, and then you would say, you know, I like what you said when you said this, or I disagree with what you said. Okay? So, going back to our story, the No Guitar Blues. Who was our main character? If you know it, just say it. Fausto. He was our main character. And today, I am going to pose a question to you. Right? Because one of our objectives is to generate ideas in response to a question. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a response sheet. This is what we're going to use today to, can you pass those down? This is what we're going to use today to respond and think. Please put your name and date on the top, and when you're done, put your pencil down to let me know you're ready to move on. Good. Good listening, Katie. Jaden, listen. There's a focus question there. I'm going to write our focus question on the board. Today, I want you to think about the question. Does Fausto have a good reason to lie? And what I'd like you to do, after I'm done, I want you to write this in the space where it says the focus question, okay? Does Fausto have a good reason to lie? Go ahead and write that down. Hopefully, is anyone already starting to have ideas about this question? Yeah? Okay, good. Hopefully you're starting to think about what you already think about this question. Does Fausto have a good reason to lie? Okay. When you're done writing the question down, the focus question down, put your pencil down, lets me know you're ready to move on. Give me a thumbs up if you already sort of have a response to this. Thumbs to the side if you're not quite sure. Thumbs down if you don't know. Mixture, okay. So, how are we going to try to answer this question? What do we need to do? What do you think we need to do?
Look back in the book and see why he was lying.
Okay. Look back in the book.
And see if there's any good reasons, or if he just did it and it was bad.
Did you hear what he said? What Gail said? Anyone want to add on to how else we're going to try to answer this question?
Maybe use the evidence, like to see that actually like a good reason.
You give good reasons to lie, okay? Using evidence from the story. Okay, so you're going to do exactly what Felix and I said. You're going to use the story to help you answer this question. Now, you might already have your idea in your head. There's two ways to answer, right? You can say yes, Fausto had a good reason to lie, or no, Fausto did not have a good reason to lie. If I said yes, what would I need to add on to that? Ring?
I don't think it's right, but and the reason.
Okay, so you didn't think he had a good reason, or?
No, I mean he had a good reason to lie, but it doesn't mean he should have done it.
Oh, okay, so that might be a different opinion. He had a good reason to lie, but he shouldn't have done it. You didn't think he should have done it? Possible. If I said yes, spouse had a good reason to lie, what do I need to do with my answer? Should I just leave it at that? What should I do, Katie? Okay, so an example or a reason, right? So your step number 1 is going to be to answer the question using your idea. So you could either say yes or no. And obviously, we're going to write a complete sentence, right? And then we're going to add some examples or give some reasons. So you could do yes. And what word might I use to help me finish that sentence? Sophie?
Because.
Okay, I might say because, right? Yes. Because. Or I could say
No.
so that's just your ideas. Number 1, answer the question using your ideas. Put your finger where it says your first idea. That's where you're going to write your answer. Does everybody understand that part? Okay, your second step, go under that where it says a place. Timothy, can you read where it says a place for me? What does it say?
A place in the story that makes you think this.
Okay, so your second step is going to be to do what you think. What do you think? Emma, do you want to try? What does that mean, a place in the story?
You try to go back, try to look at the page and then read it over and see where it is.
Exactly. Okay, Lila, you want to add on?
A quote from the text.
Okay, the second step is to find a place in the story. So an actual quote or an actual piece of text, okay? And Emma, you said also do the page number. You see the part on your sheet where you need to write the page number?
Yeah.
Okay. Who can repeat back for me the 2 things I want you to do right now? Ooh, a lot of people. Okay, Jade, can you tell us what it is that I need you to do?
You have to answer the story, answer the question, and find a place in the story for evidence.
Okay. And when I say evidence, what does that mean? Evidence that does what?
That justifies your answer.
Oh, great. Ooh, I like the word justify. Yeah, so evidence that justifies your answer. Does anybody have any questions before I start? Okay, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do this. And if you do have a question when you're in it, you can raise your hand and I'll come over and help you. But I'll walk around the room to sort of check in on you, okay? So go ahead. Good work going on.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, as they're finishing up, I'm going to get us started on the discussion. Just remind us of the guidelines. So I've moved Felix and Emma here, Ray, you can slide over book. We're in a circle now. Make sure you can see everybody in the circle. Okay? Because remember, number 4 says, listen to other participants and respond to them directly. Okay? So the 2 things you need your book, because we're going to be looking in the book when people share the evidence to justify the reason. We're going to go into the book and find that evidence so we can listen to their ideas and try to respond to them. So we need to be able to find that evidence. So that's why you put the page number, so we can all find it. And you also need your answer question again. And whoever wants to try to answer can go ahead and go for it. Okay? What I have in front of me is a response sheet. It's got all your names on it. And I'm going to use this just to check off. It's a reminder for me to see who's responded or who hasn't responded. So I might try to draw you into the conversation by looking at to see if you responded or not. Okay? So this is sort of a way for me to just assess how things are going. And this is the first time we're doing it, so we're just going to have fun with it. And we're going to get some good ideas and listen to each other and have some fun. Okay? All right. So the question is, did Fausto have a good reason in the story? The no guitar blues. Did Fausto have a good reason to lie? Anyone want to say?
Just how I answer after I have a question. To read your idea and then your reasons.
You would share your idea and then you would give the evidence.
Well, I have 2 reasons, and I say yes, I think he had good reasons why. Because that was what he wanted to be when he was older. The other thing is that the dog it actually was a boss, and it was a few, like, I think 6 blocks away. So that's pretty far. And my reasons and my evidence is, for the first one, the moment Foster saw the group, there was no one on American bandstand, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. This is like, play guitar.
I agree with Green.
And for the second idea, and it might even really be lost, because the address was 6 blocks away. I'm not saying that it's good that he lied, but he still has a reason.
I disagree because I don't think he really has a reason because his mom did say he might be able to get one for his birthday. Therefore, there was no reason why. And then on page 8, the evidence I found was that it said, I can't promise, she said to any doctor or yes, but we'll see.
I disagree with Katie when she says that he didn't have a good reason to lie, and I agree with Ray because, I used the same quote as him, and
Can you remind us of what that quote was?
it was the moment Foster saw the group of those logos on American Bandstand. He knew exactly what he wanted to do with his life, play guitar. And so, my ideas were the same because I said that that's once he saw that show, and that's what he knew that's what he wanted to do with his life. So I understand how he wants a guitar, and he was willing to bend to get it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to that page 8 so that everyone can see that. Did you say it was page 8 right in line?
It was 7.
Page 7, right at the beginning. The moment Fausto saw the group lost logos on American Bandstand, he knew exactly what he wanted to do with his life, play guitar. So Green and Lila think that he had a good reason to lie because he always wanted this guitar. Will I add on to that?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with both of them because he does have good reason why.
Well, he was going to ask his mom to have her guitar, and they always said no, so wanting to get money is what he trying to get. Because I can understand that after a while, if you keep on asking and you don't get it, I agree with what he's saying, but I want to go back to what Katie said, that she might get it for his birthday, but it actually says next year, so it's probably the month that's passed soon. So it's going to be a full year, and he said money on you would be extended for his birthday.
Yeah, and I agree with him when he said that the dog was still listening, but at the same time, he said that the dog was on the freeway when he was on the freeway.
I agree with Katie because Fausto didn't have a reason to lie because he basically he didn't earn it because he just was walking to find jobs to earn money, but he just found the dog, and after when he lied, he realized it wasn't that he lied, so he tried to refuse to get the money because he just realized he did a bad thing, and he thought to himself that the dog was probably just taking this Saturday walk around, and the freeway is probably far away from that place. So, and the dog was being mistreated because actually he wasn't at the freeway, he was just walking around. And in the book it said that his owners were like saying negative
What evidence did you find for
It
this?
said, as Fausto walked to the door, the man opened his wallet and took out a bill. This is for you, he said. Roger's special tools. Almost like a son. And then he said, I can't take that. And then he was saying to he was arguing against the people that he didn't really deserve it.
Okay.
Also, Felix, when you said that they're saying negative things to the dog, it wasn't much, like they were kind of, I think they weren't necessarily being mean to the dog. I think it was more like playful, kind of, creatively.
All they said was bad boys.
Yeah. Oh, you're a bad boy, kind of stuff.
They didn't like
So when you say they were being mean to the dog, do you mean the owners?
Yeah, because the dog didn't really deserve them saying that to him because he actually was afraid of it.
I have the book here. It says the lady frowned and said,
What page is that, Katie?
it's on page 11.
Page 11.
The lady frowned and said, wagging her finger at Roger, oh, you're a bad boy.
So let's go back to this idea that we have of wanting this guitar. Okay, I want you to think about that. Jade, go ahead and share your idea, and I want you to be thinking about whether Fausto wants this guitar. So does that make it okay to lie?
No, I don't think Fausto has reason to lie because you can't let greed get the best of you. And so it could be at home in my privacy of my room. Of his room, he examined the $20 bill. He has so much money. It was probably enough to buy a second-hand guitar.
Can you tell us what page it's on, Jade? Is that towards the end?
Thanks.
Page 13. Okay, can we turn to page 13, that quote that Jade. So tell us your answer again. You said no, he doesn't have a reason to lie because
You can't let the greed get the best of
you
you.
can't let greed get the best of you, okay?
He obviously really wanted the guitar, but he still shouldn't lie about it. I also want to add on to that. You shouldn't get everything you want because life isn't unfair. You have to learn that.
Life is unfair?
I agree with Alex and Jade when they said that, like, you should let the greed get the best of you. I think he made, and also when Michael says we should earn money, because he didn't really do anything to get the money when he first got it, by handing it off.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say something because it says, does Foster have a good reason to lie? It's not saying should he have lied. It's saying, does he have a good reason to lie? It's not saying that should he have lied? Maybe, probably not, but it still has a good reason to lie.
He didn't have that many money.
Yeah, because
He
he's
had
not.
a guitar.
Yeah, but that's what he wanted to do.
Okay, so remember we're looking at evidence, so I want to stick with that. So Sophie has something to say. Can I invite you into the conversation, Sophie?
I agree with Felix and Katie. I do not think it was a good reason to lie because he was basically lying to get money, and he could have earned the money by getting a job or making a lemonade stand or a bake sale. And my evidence is fast. It's on page 9 and 10 because it adds up.
Let's go ahead and listen to what Sophie said, page 9 and 10.
It's at the bottom of the page, and Fausto planned to take the dog home and collect it over there. He would say he found it at, he would say he found Roger near the freeway. This means that he was going to use the dog to get money.
I agree with Sophie. Like, she kind of said exactly what I was going to say. Because he could have went around and instead of lying and tried to earn it by himself. And my evidence is he felt bad. And it also was what Erin said, because he said it was a lost dog. He felt bad. It's on page 10. He felt bad about lying, but his dog was loose. So he shouldn't have lied because he could have earned it by himself.
I know when you're saying that he could have done it by himself, but it also says that he, at the beginning, he tried looking
there ever a justification for lying? Skylar, you want to jump in? Go for it.
I disagree with Ray because it was selfish of him to lie to get $20. And my evidence is on page 9 and 10 of Sophie, but mine is a little more extended.
Okay, go
He
ahead.
also planned to take the dog home and collect the reward. He would say that he found the Roger and threw away. That would scare the daylights out of the aliens.
Go ahead.
He was so happy they would probably give him a reward, which was selfish.
Okay, can you tell me a little more about what you mean by selfish? Yeah.
Because he could have just gone around or asked his mom if he can do any chores, help around the house to get money, which would still be finding a job.
I disagree with Skylar when she said that he was lying just to get $20. I didn't think he knew that he was going to get $20. Like he said, they were probably giving him a reward, but I don't think he knew that it would be that much. I think that he was really grateful, and like that showed when he tried to give the money back.
Kind of think that
All right, we're running out of time, so we've got so many good ideas going on. I'm gonna let Katie finish, and then Timothy wants to jump in. And Timothy, you're gonna have our last word for today, okay?
Okay, so when you said he probably, I agree when you said that he probably didn't know he was going to get so much money, but at the same time, he knew he was going to get so much money. He said it was like,
The people are kind of rich.
Okay, Timothy, last word for today.
I don't think you should have lied because with $20 anyway, you probably can't get a good guitar.
Did he have a good reason to lie? Do you think wanting the guitar was a good reason to lie? Going back to the question.
Yeah.
You think it was a good enough reason to lie? All right, we're gonna end there. There's lots more we can talk about, right? Is everyone still have something they want to say?
Yes.
That's real big, itching to get it out. We could have this discussion probably for another half hour. That's a really good thing. The idea is that you guys, you're sharing your ideas, you're using evidence from the story. And so, learning from me. To finish up, what I'd like to do is go back to your building your answer sheet and put your finger where it says after the discussion. Can someone read what it says there now? Okay, Skylar, read that for us.
now think about all the evidence you heard and think again how you would answer the question. The answer makes most sense now to you.
Okay, so thinking ahead, do you still keep the same answer that you had before?
Yes.
Or based on the evidence from everybody else, did you change the answer? If you kept the same answer, I want you to put a new piece of evidence that helps support or justify your answer even more, something you heard from somebody else. And if you changed your answer, I want you to write evidence down that made you change your answer. Does everybody understand?
If I had to draw something.
Yes. Okay. All right. Take a few minutes and we're going to finish there. Okay, so this is your answer. You still think you have this? But it was for 3, right? I'm going to use these building your answer sheets just to sort of get a sense of your thinking and how you change your ideas and what sort of evidence you're using. Yep. So he said I added more evidence. So what was the new evidence that made you support your idea a little bit more? Okay, so you added more evidence. So what was the evidence that you heard that helped justify or support your reasoning more?
like, so when somebody said something like 5 other people had a different idea about that one sentence.
Okay, Alex?
I have to agree because like I had like 3 more ideas.
I think it went really well because we didn't have too much of the same answers. Because if the discussion would be more boring and funny if it just kept on going back and forth with the same answer. And we wouldn't get anything other than like no or yes. And sometimes in discussions it gets really boring because like everybody would always say yes.
Okay, so we had some different ideas. So if we go back to our objective, did we have a variety of ideas going throughout the classroom? Or you think in your own head? Was my idea strong? Was I able to give a good reason? And then were we able to give evidence?
Yes.
Okay, so most of us were able to give evidence, and I'm going to use your building, your answer sheets to sort of read your evidence and just to check in. Okay guys, I appreciate your time today. I'm going to collect your sheets, and I hope that Ms. Kelly